The African savanna never truly rests. Under the vast, burning sky, every shadow may hide a hunter. Beneath a cluster of ancient, twisted acacia trees, the heat radiates from the earth, creating a shimmering mirage of peace. A lone leopard moves through the tall, golden grass. It carries the confidence of an apex predator and the silent, deadly grace of a shadow. It is a leopard, the undisputed king of stealth, a creature that understands that patience is its most lethal weapon. But even the most careful hunter can be deceived by the savanna's deceptive calm. In the distance, a patch of rocky terrain hides a complex network of deep, earth-carved burrows. A mongoose clan, alert, intelligent, and relentlessly coordinated, is foraging for food, completely unaware of the lethal golden eyes fixed upon them from the tall grass. The leopard crouches low, muscles coiled, waiting for the perfect moment. It believes this will be an easy hunt, another display of its absolute dominance in this harsh and unforgiving land. It does not notice the sentinels. A single mongoose stands upright on a high rock, scanning the vast horizon with sharp, nervous energy. The leopard thinks it has remained invisible, a ghost in the grass. It begins to stalk closer, belly pressed to the dry, dusty soil. Every fiber of its being is focused on the target, but the savanna is a place of secrets, and this ambush is about to trigger a reaction the leopard never expected. The silence of the afternoon is heavy, thick with the tension of two forces destined to collide. The king is about to discover that in this land, numbers carry a power that strength alone cannot overcome. The hunt has begun, but the roles of hunter and prey are shifting beneath the surface. The hunt begins, inciting incident. The leopard's ears swivel. A sharp, chattering sound pierces the heavy afternoon silence. It is not the sound of wind in the dry grass or the call of a distant bird. It is the urgent, frantic warning of a mongoose sentinel. The leopard's eyes lock onto the target. 50 yards away, the mongoose clan is busy, distracted by the pursuit of beetles and larvae. They are vulnerable. This is the opportunity the leopard has been waiting for. A chance to secure an easy meal and cement its status as the most lethal hunter in this territory. The leopard rises, but only an inch. It is now fully committed. The graceful, prowling walk of before vanishes, replaced by a low, rigid crawl. Every muscle is tight, every instinct tuned to the frequency of the hunt. There is no turning back now. The stakes are clear. For the leopard, failure here means an empty stomach and the loss of precious energy. But there is more at risk than just a meal. In this unforgiving landscape, reputation is everything. A failed hunt is a sign of weakness, a crack in the armor that other predators will notice. The leopard calculates the distance. It knows that the mongooses are fast, and they are notoriously bold. To catch one, it must be perfect. It must be invisible until the very last millisecond. It pauses behind a large, termite-mounded rock, its breath steady and deep. The target is oblivious, still foraging, unaware that a shadow is closing in to steal their peace. The tension is becoming unbearable. The leopard shifts its weight, tail twitching just once. The final signal of intent. The distance between the hunter and the hunted is shrinking rapidly. The question hangs in the air, thick as the dust. Is this the leopard's triumphant meal, or has it just made a fatal error in judgment? The leopard prepares to strike. False victory. The leopard strikes. In a blur of golden fur and razor-sharp claws, it launches itself from the tall grass, closing the 50 yards in a heartbeat. The mongoose clan, distracted by the search for beetles, doesn't even see it coming until the very last millisecond. One mongoose, slightly isolated from the rest, tries to twist away, but the leopard's reaction time is superior. With a heavy, thudding impact, the predator slams into the earth. It is a textbook strike, perfect, calculated, and devastating. The dust settles, revealing the leopard with its prize pinned beneath a massive, muscular paw. For a brief, terrifying moment, the victory seems absolute. The leopard tightens its grip, sensing the hunt is over. It prepares to drag its meal away to the safety of an acacia tree. It has proven its dominance, asserting its position at the top of the food chain with a display of raw, unfiltered power. The leopard's eyes shine with success. It truly believes the crown of this territory remains undisputed. But the savanna has one more surprise to reveal. The silence that follows the strike is suddenly shattered by a high-pitched, frantic scream, not of pain, but of mobilization. But the savanna had one more surprise to reveal. The silence that followed the strike was shattered by a sharp, piercing scream, not of pain, but of mobilization. It was the rallying cry of the clan. From the rocky crevices, the deep burrows, and the tall, swaying grass, they emerged. Not in ones or twos, but as a tide of fur and fury. The remaining Mongoose clan had not fled. They had coordinated. The leopard's ears flicked back, its eyes widening as it realized the scope of its error. What it thought was a simple, solitary hunt had transformed into an open declaration of war. Suddenly, the leopard was surrounded. From every direction, the Mongoose clan swarmed toward the base of the termite mound. They were no longer foraging creatures. They were a wall of bristling fur, teeth bared, and eyes locked on the intruder with unwavering focus. The power dynamic shifted instantly. The leopard, once the sole master of this patch of earth, suddenly looked vulnerable. It let out a low, guttural growl, attempting to reassert its status as the king. But the clan did not retreat. Instead, they moved closer, weaving in and out of the grass with blurring speed. They understood the leopard's anatomy. They knew it couldn't watch every direction at once. What was once a simple hunt had become a complex, terrifying battle. The leopard stood over its prize, but the captive was now a liability. The king was no longer just the hunter. It was now the target of an entire army. For the first time that day, the leopard's confidence began to fracture under the weight of dozens of tiny, deadly glares. The hunter was now the prey of the collective. Like waves crashing against a cliff, the Mongoose clan never stopped. They were a blur of teeth and fury, moving with a synchronicity that left the leopard reeling. Every time the leopard swiped, a mongoose was already gone, only for another to dive in from behind, nipping at its heels or its flank. They didn't need to land a fatal blow. They only needed to chip away at the king's resolve, one strike at a time. The leopard roared, a sound of frustration and growing panic. But the alarm calls from the sentinels only intensified, urging the clan forward. The collective was relentless. Every attack stole a little more of the leopard's strength. Its breath came in ragged gasps, the hot, dry air stinging its throat. The leopard, accustomed to the swift finality of a singular ambush, was now trapped in a war of endurance, a game it was not built to play. Even the strongest predator cannot fight every enemy at once. The leopard spun, its heavy paws pounding the earth, trying to keep the swarm at bay. It snapped its jaws, but the mongooses were too fast, dancing just inches out of reach before darting back in to harass the exhausted hunter. The leopard's coat, usually immaculate, was now matted with dust and sweat. Its eyes, once burning with lethal focus, were now darting back and forth, searching for a gap in the relentless wall of fur. The crown of the savanna was starting to feel impossibly heavy, and for the first time, the king began to realize that brute strength was failing him. The battle was no longer taking place on the grassland. It was taking place inside his own body. Every swipe grew slower, every reaction a fraction of a second too late. The king was tiring, and the clan knew it. The leopard's front legs buckled. It dropped onto one knee in the thick, trampled grass, its breath coming in ragged, desperate heaves. It was not a voluntary surrender. It was the collapse of a machine pushed far beyond its limits. The leopard did not want to break. This was an animal that lived for victory and defined its existence through its status as an apex predator, but its body could no longer sustain the fight. Every muscle fiber was screaming, flooded with lactic acid. and shaking with the profound exhaustion that only follows a prolonged, high-intensity battle. The mongooses sensed the shift in the air. The leopard's growls, once thunderous and terrifying, had dissolved into low, raspy wheezes. It was still baring its teeth, still swiping with whatever reserve strength remained, but the ferocity was gone. The king of the savannah was now fighting not for dominance, but for survival. Its eyes, which once scanned the horizon with cold, calculating intelligence, were now unfocused and glassy. The leopard was trapped in a nightmare where every step forward was blocked by a new threat. Even on the edge of total collapse, the leopard refused to bow its head entirely. It snapped at a mongoose that ventured too close, a final reflexive strike that lacked the precision of earlier attempts. It was a hollow gesture, a ghost of the king that had entered this territory only an hour before. The exhaustion was absolute. The leopard's coat, once pristine, was torn and matted with the dust of the termite mound and the blood of a battle it had miscalculated from the very first second. The crown of the territory, heavy with pride, was slipping off its brow. The leopard could feel its own heart pounding against its ribs like a trapped bird, demanding rest, demanding retreat. In this moment, the predator was stripped of its armor, reduced to a desperate animal simply trying to endure the next 10 seconds. It was the lowest point a king could possibly reach, an admission that nature's hierarchy had been violently, irreversibly rewritten. The leopard finally turned away. It did not retreat with the grace of a king, but with the heavy, stumbling gait of a survivor. Every step across the dry, golden grass carried the weight of bruised pride and the stinging reality of a battle lost. The crown of the savannah, once held so easily, felt like a phantom burden it could no longer carry. It moved into the long shadows of the late afternoon, its form silhouetted against the horizon, a solitary figure shrinking into the vastness of the plains. Behind it, the Mongoose clan remained, a silent, united force standing guard over their territory. They did not celebrate. There were no cheers or displays of triumph. Instead, they stood in a loose, watchful perimeter, their eyes tracking the leopard until it vanished into the tall grass. The scent of battle still hung in the air, the sharp tang of dust, the musk of aggression, and the residual adrenaline of a fight they had never asked for, but had refused to lose. The clan began to move, not with the frantic energy of the fight, but with a synchronized, rhythmic purpose. They gathered near the mouth of their primary burrow, heads turning in unison, every movement calculated to maintain the safety of the collective. The dust began to settle, drifting away on the evening breeze to reveal the trampled earth of the termite mound, a scar on the landscape that marked the place where the impossible had happened. The leopard had survived, but the king had been forced to acknowledge a power that its own claws could not conquer. The silence of the savannah returned, but it was no longer the silence of peace. It was the heavy, respectful quiet of a territory where the hierarchy had been irreversibly rewritten. The sun began its descent, painting the sky in deep hues of violet and orange, casting a final light over a land that, in a single hour, had witnessed the humbling of a predator by the indomitable spirit of a family. The leopard remains one of the most formidable hunters on the African continent. An adult leopard can weigh up to 90 kilograms and possesses the explosive strength to haul prey twice its own weight into the canopy of a tree. Its greatest weapon is not merely its power, but its solitude, a stealth-based, solitary hunting strategy that has allowed it to thrive as an apex predator for thousands of years. Yet, this encounter reveals the leopard's one true vulnerability: the reliance on individual perfection. When a solo hunter makes a single error, there is no backup. There is only the cost of the failure. The banded mongoose survives by a completely different rulebook. While an individual mongoose is small and physically fragile compared to a leopard, the clan thrives through absolute, unrelenting unity. Banded mongooses live in social groups that can number up to 40 individuals. This collective structure allows them to rotate sentinels, share the burden of foraging, and, as we witnessed today, mobilize a defense that makes them far more dangerous than the sum of their parts. Their survival strategy is built on the simple, powerful reality that predators often avoid high-risk, high-effort targets. By standing together, the clan transforms a landscape of potential prey into a fortress of defense. Neither strategy is perfect. The leopard's solitary lifestyle is an evolutionary masterpiece that excels in the shadows, while the mongoose's social intelligence is a marvel of communal resilience. Yet, both have endured for millennia, occupying niches that allow them to coexist on these vast, unforgiving plains. Every time a leopard stalks through the grass, and every time a mongoose clan emerges from its burrow, a new chapter of this ancient balance is written. Survival in the wild is not just about who has the sharpest claws or the most dangerous bite. It is about adaptability and the choices made under pressure. In this land, the king may hold the crown, but the collective holds the power of the territory. As the sun sets on the savannah, the hunt for tomorrow has already begun, and for every creature here, the lesson remains the same. The landscape belongs to those who best understand how to navigate the risks of another day.